Welcome back to Lenz Comic Corner, Classics Last Non-Classics. This is episode number 318 and Doubleshot number 247. Okay, first up, excuse me, Daredevil, a man without fear. Yeah, this is the trade that collects this. I think it's a 5-issue miniseries written by Frank Miller and John Romita Jr. Now, this is Frank Miller's last known association with the Daredevil character. This is the last thing he wrote for it. This is not associated with the actual series. Now, I should point out this particular miniseries was used for the basis of Daredevil Season 1, the Netflix show. Yeah. There are some points where the artwork looks pretty good for John Romita Jr. Some people are not really big fans of his artwork. I don't have a problem with his artwork. I respect the guy because, well, his father is a legendary artist. I should point out that he does a really good job of drawing the Kingpin in this series. Let's see. The Kingpin does show up like halfway through this thing. I mean, you have Elektra. They swap her out in the show for, what's her name? Oh, yeah, Karen Page. Here he is. Now, don't tell me that John Romita Jr. can't draw an awesome-looking Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin. I mean, look at this. Yeah, that's the Kingpin. Yeah, there's a little bit of shadow, but it makes sense. I mean, this is good. If Kingpin ever got, like, even though he's in an ongoing series now, John Romita Jr., I mean, if you look at this picture, he does a great job drawing the guy. Yeah. I'm like, I look at this, wow, this is actually really good. I mean, yeah, he put hair in his hands. Well, he is an older guy, but yeah. I did enjoy the writing in here. The artwork is hit or miss here or there, but John Romita Jr. can tell a really good story when it comes to this. And some people were not fans of his artwork when it comes to the particular series because it's not kick-ass, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was actually a pretty good series, and I give it a 9 out of 10. Okay. I know Superman. People are not fans of a Superman run, but. Yeah, but they cleared it up. There's a little bit of lines here and there, but it's not too bad. Next up, X-Men, the X-Tinction Agenda. And yes, I do know that Secret Wars did do a follow-up miniseries to this as a tie-in. This would contain Uncanny X-Men 235 to 238 and 270, 272, New Mutants 95, 97, and X-Factor 60, 62. Chris Claremont writes the Uncanny X-Men issues and New Mutants. Louise Simonson writes the X-Factor issues. Rob Liefeld, despite the fact he's credited on here, I think he just does the covers for New Mutants. I don't think he does the interior artwork for the issues. I don't think so, no. I don't think he does. No, he does not do the interior artwork. He does do the covers. Yeah, I think at this point he was just doing the covers. But the story of this crossover is, and of course they did the original kind of like, this story is kind of like a follow-up to a story Chris Claremont did originally with the whole thing with the Genoshan stuff where they followed it up. Sorry if you hear the noise in the background. There's some stuff going on today. But this story, it's written really well. It's got great artwork. And as far as I know, this series did get a partial adaptation in the X-Men cartoon. Partially. Mainly due to how Cameron Hodge looks in the show. When he's in his robot form, which he is appearing here now, Cameron Hodge is killed in this story, of all people, not by Cyclops, definitely not by Warlock, which he is killed by Warlock in the second coming storyline. This way is killed by Wolfsbane, which I accept that because of all the torture that he did to her, like all the stuff he did to her. So, you know what she did? Well, of course, he had been decapitated. Of course, his head was still alive. So, do you know what she did? She ripped his head to pieces. Yep. But the X-Men fully reformed. Well, mostly anyways, with the exception of the original 5. They mostly reformed, and I think after this, they did made a temporary base operations on the X-Factor ship. Which ship they got from Apocalypse. Which it took Chris Claremont himself was in the book for another at least another 7 issues before he left. He left with the Fallen crossover. I don't remember its name. I have to look it up here. What name? Fallen crossover that comes right after this one. Well, there is a crossover that comes right after this one, and it's that pretty much into both the it sets up a new era that leads into the new X-Men title that comes that Chris Claremont writes and Jim Lee draws for the first 3 issues. Well, Jim Lee I think takes over the writing for the series as well. Let's see here. I have to look up exactly what the follow-up storyline is for this one. Come on. There we go. Right. The follow-up crossover that comes right after this one is this one? I think it is. Yeah, the Mirror Island crossover. This is the one that comes right after this one. That's the follow-up cross. That's the next crossover that comes right after this one. It's not as long as this one. Mirror Island is only just only about 5 issues long. Unlike this one, which is like excuse me, it's 9 parts across 3 books. Now, what happens in Mutants? Now, X Factor will continue operating as it is for another 8 issues before that incarnation gets suspended and reformed as the government incarnation led by Havoc. New Mutants will continue for another 3 issues. Of course, here's something by sheer coincidence: the issue that came out right after this crossover concluded, the debut of Deadpool, and the issue after that was Shatterstar, and issue 100, which was the final issue at that point of the series, and where New Mutants was suspended and reformed as X-Force. And of course, the X-Force series started right after this. At least not long after that. The X-Factor series continued for another, I don't know, 6-7 years. It continued, well, with the original X-Factor team for another 8 issues before it was taken over by the government incarnation, which lasted from issue 71 to 149, have a few annuals here and there. And of course, the X-Men still continues to this very day, but Claremont's run only will last for another 7 issues before he leaves. But this is still good. I get this book a 9 out of 10 because how well told it is. My only slight problem with it is that at the same time this crossover is going on, the Avengers are actually in space. I am not kidding about this. I mean, in 91. Yeah. This crossover, well, when it comes up here. Let's see, it's coming up here. This crossover happened from November 1990 to January of 1991, over the course of 3 months. That's not bad for a crossover, per se, especially one of us monthly. If it was bi-monthly, this will only last maybe a couple months at most. But yeah, book is still good. 9 out of 10. Alright, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which will be episode 319 and Doubleshot 249. Hopefully. Okay? But until then, I will see you there.